Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the live match preview show where we are going to be looking ahead to our game against Leeds, which kicks off in just over an hour's time. I'm joined by Mike from the Unholy Trinity podcast. Welcome back to the show, Mike.
Cheers, mate, for having me on.
Of course, not a problem. Always great to have a fellow Blue on to look ahead to a game with probably more optimism than I would have been looking to head to this game with a couple of days ago. Of course, the transfer businesses made me feel a little bit better because I felt very, very low after the Newcastle game on Saturday. How are you feeling going into this one, Mike?
Pretty good, mate, to be honest. I think obviously Saturday was so poor, wasn't it? And we're all probably quite reactive, aren't we, to results. And with the transfer window, with the transfer window closing so close to the to that game finishing, obviously, feelings are heightened even more. But great addition. I'm sure we'll come on to it. Josh King in terms of a 6-month contract. Great to get him in, and just seeing that it is confirmed in the squad for tonight as well, which is even better.
Good news. That's certainly good news. So that answers Leo Owen's question anyway. You got straight involved there. Great to have you on. Getting involved, Leo. Good stuff. Is King available to play? Toffee Blues John said we shall see in a few minutes. I mean, he's available for selection by the sound of it, so odds are he'll be in the squad in some capacity if what you're saying is true, Mike. We've heard mixed rumours about whether he's actually available, but like I say, we've only got 5 more minutes till the Everton team news is announced, and we'll be bringing you our reactions to that as soon as it's announced. We'll have 5 minutes of debating what's going to happen there. Purple Aki says up the Toffee lads, up the Toffees lads. Thanks, Purple Aki. Thanks for tuning in. Certainly. Leo hopes that Josh King plays a part today because I think we do need a little bit of. I think he might be a bit of a kick up the backside for a couple of our current squad members who maybe have been drifting. Needs a big game from like Richarlison and people like that today. I think they need to have big games. When Koeman's back as well. Hi, boys. Great to have you all getting involved. Thanks for tuning in. Really is it's a big game tonight. I think we need to see our power of recovery after a poor display. We need to see reactions today. I mean, most of the time, Carlo's managed to get one. There's only really the project restart towards the end of last season where we struggled bouncing back under Carlo. So we'll have to see. Erwin agrees that he hopes King is on the bench. Leo Owen tuning in, of course. Opinions on the King sign. You think we'll extend his contract? I think, like said in many of our transfer reactions, and of course I did a show about the King signing yesterday, a live transfer roundup, if you like. So if you haven't seen that, pop back and tune into that as well. The King signing, it's very much an audition, we said on that show. So it's like a 6-month contract, almost like a glorified trial, but he can play in competitive games, of course. Like a glorified trial where we see how he gets on, and if he performs in these 6 months, then we'll extend his contract. If he doesn't, we won't. Very much a win-win situation for Everton as far as the Josh King deal is concerned. And that starts tonight. If he is in the squad, then his 6-month audition is getting underway as we speak. Purple Aki's back. What's got him saying tonight? I reckon Carlo would have kicked him up the arse after that shocking game against Newcastle. I'd like to think so. It's really, really disappointing to lose a game in the manner we did on Saturday, and I think any manager as successful as Carlo Ancelotti won't tolerate those kind of displays. I think in terms of, obviously we've got 3 minutes out till the starting 11's announced, and I'd like to think that there'll be a couple of changes. Mike, what about you, mate? Do you reckon there'll be a few changes for this lineup tonight?
Yeah, I think we go back to the full centre halves playing across the back, to be honest with you, giving a bit of pace, a bit of power, strength. So Holgate right back, Goalkeeper back to left back, and then obviously the 2 big lads in the middle, Mina and Keane. So I think Dean will be asked to play further forward again, if I'm being honest with you. I think he likes that. Carlo, obviously we saw it against Wolves, especially where it was effective. It will be for me, but probably miss out. But it's a toss-up between Iwobi and Richarlison at the moment, to be fair. Richarlison's not in great form. I thought against Newcastle he started pretty well for the first 15-20 and then drifted again. So for me, probably the biggest changes will come in defence, but I also expect Tom Davies back in the middle with Abdoulaye Doucouré I think that'll be Sigurdsson out of the side, Tom Davies back in. So there's certainly going to be a few changes. Obviously, Olsen in goal is going to come in because of the Pickford injury as well. So yeah, definitely a bit fresher than the Newcastle game, I think.
Announcement, of course, Josh King can play Alan Myers. I've confirmed that on Twitter in the last couple of minutes. Leo Owens asked us the rumours true about Bamford, Rafinha and Rodrigo being out for Leeds. That's very much news to me because I think they all played in the last game, so unless some absolute freak turn of events, I don't know how they've all ended up injuring themselves. But I mean, it's a stroke of luck for us if that's the case. But you know, we've still got to turn up. We've still got to turn up.
Yeah, I think Bamford, I think, had a 75% chance of playing. But they've got a few. I think I saw before on Physio Room, I think 8 injuries. I don't think Rafinha was mentioned. Rodrigo, I think, was mentioned. So they've got a few doubts. But you know, we've got a minute, and we'll find out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an interesting one today. We'll have to see whether Josh King plays his part or what. But it's just going to be one of them. We've got a minute to go till the team use. But do you reckon he'll start or will he be a substitute? Do you reckon?
He's got to be on the bench, hasn't he? You know, if he's obviously he's eligible to play, which is excellent news. It's another body. It's another attacking player for the bench, pace, power. But I think we'll see him start on the bench. And you know, who knows? Might get a little 10-15 minute cameo. Hopefully by that time we're 2 or 3-0 up and we're coasting a little bit. But he might be called upon to come on and try and get us something from the game.
Yes, I mean, you need that impact sub. We haven't really had that this season, I don't think. But yeah, the team news is out. Let's have a little look. Team news: Josh King's on the bench, as we're expecting the team. Robin Olsen, Godfrey, Mina, Holgate, Dean. No Michael Keane in the first team, which is interesting. No Michael Keane in the 11. So it's looking like a Holgate, Mina, Godfrey and Dean at the back. Decore, Gomez and Sigurdsson in the middle. Richarlison, Iwobi and Dominic Calvert-Lewin as the front three. James Rodriguez is on the bench as well. Very interesting lineup there.
Massively, yeah. I mean, obviously, James is probably the biggest one, really, isn't he, in terms of someone who you'd think is a shoo-in to play. Obviously, number of games probably dictating such a short period of time. You need to rotate slightly. Michael Keane as well, probably one of our best players this season. But you know, it is important. It's important to change things up and you know make sure the team is fresh and other players are getting the opportunity. Like we said already, good to see King get on the bench. So if called upon, I'm sure he can do a job. But Carlo's not averse to changing the side. We've seen it before, and you know it's up to those players who are coming back into the side to do a job. And we say it all the time, you know. Make yourself, make sure that you're the ones who want the first name on the team sheet going forward. It's your audition as well. But a lot of these players have had chances in the past, haven't they, where they flattered to deceive, and we sort of then go back to our strongest 11. So it's important that those who are coming in put a shift in and you know make sure that Carlo notices them for future games as well.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one. Is he going? I know Leeds are a very physical side. Seems to have gone for the most physical players in this scenario. I mean, Gylfi Sigurdsson is not a player that I'd like to have seen in the starting 11, and certainly not with the captain's armband as the lineup suggests. What in God's name is that? I mean, Toffee Blues has asked anyone tuning in thoughts on the team. My thoughts: I'm very, very interested to see what's going to happen with this because. It's just a very interesting one. I'm not necessarily slating it because we don't know how it's going to pan out. It's just not something we used to seeing, and we had to change something after the Newcastle game, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think you know it's not about slating the side. Carlo knows exactly what he's doing. You know, the Wolves game was a great example of that, where people were all wondering what was going on when we're seeing Gylfi Sigurdsson as a false number 9. So I don't question what the manager does. He knows the side better. He knows the fitness level and the recovery of the side of the players who played at the weekend as well. So no question the manager there. It's just obviously, as I say, the biggest surprise for me is not seeing James start. And when his name is not in the first 11, then eyebrows will be raised, if you pardon the pun. But we'll see. As you say, big strong 11. He's gone for some pace, power there. That's for sure to match up with Leeds in terms of the battle all over the pitch. They don't stop. They're a side who will keep on coming as well. We've seen that. So having a bit of pace and power, I'm sure will come in handy.
Certainly. Just having a little look at the Leeds team as well. It's Rafinha's playing, Bamford's playing. The only one who's actually missing is Rodrigo. And yeah, Rodrigo's not involved at all, but the other two are involved. So I don't know who came up with that rumour, but there's nothing in that. It's very much just the team we're used to seeing from Leeds for the most part. And they never make it easy for anyone with those kind of players. There's a lot of physicality and a lot of running in that team. We need to make sure we at least come close to matching that, because I think if we do that, then we're the better side technically, so we should maybe come out on top. But it's obviously the responses coming in now for the starting 11 in the chat. Cornelius is saying we should play James and take out Richarlison. He's doing garbage. A lot of surprise at the James Rodriguez omission. Adam said there's no Rodriguez. Ancelotti, what the fuck? Erwin Koeman, rest James for Saturday. I mean, I think James will need a rest. I think this is the kind of game where James could get overrun if he's in the team. We've seen, I think there have been games where, like against sides that have a lot more pace than us, where maybe James is better off coming off the bench. This might be one of those games, and we'll soon see anyway. But not that bad, to be honest. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I think, what have we done to deserve Sigurdsson and Gomez against Adam as well? Why is James out, Leo? I'm not too sure myself, mate, but I think it's a case of maybe resting him. He's not long come back from an injury. He's played a few games in quick succession, and we've had 3 games in the space of a week, more or less, and we've got some big games coming up as well, so probably a good time to rest him, especially in a game where he could get overrun, like I say. Man United Herbert says, what's with the second string side? Is Carlo resting players for the United game? Obviously, a Man United fan there getting involved. Obviously, keeping an eye on us ahead of that game on the weekends. But again, Herbert for tuning in there. I think it's a case of maybe he's got one eye on the Man United game, but he's also got one eye on the physicality. And I think James Rodriguez might look out of place in this game. He's certainly technically a level above anybody in both sides, but if the game gets physical as Leeds like it to be, James could struggle. So it might be a case of holding out, trying to make it a real battle, and then maybe unleashing James in the second half. We'll wait and see. Adam says Keane rested as well, so I'm glad Godfrey is in. And a lot of this as well, not guilty, is generally the consensus in the live chat as well. Clearly, the idea of starting Gylfi Sigurdsson again after the weekend has not gone down well, which I am quite frankly not surprised, to be honest. I thought he was wretched on Saturday, but let's see if we can put things right. I reckon Carlo was asked for a real response from the players after what we saw on Saturday.
I think he looked
massively. It's a big test to see if they've got that power of recovery.
He looked hugely annoyed, I thought, in the post match at the weekend, and rightly so. We all were. It was a game that I didn't take it particularly well in terms of. I said this on the podcast at the weekend. That just literally once full time came, social media was off. That was me done for the day. Just take a step away. And
certainly,
it was difficult. So it was easy to process the next day and look back on it and see obviously where things went wrong. But I think when the manager questions the side's energy, and by energy, whether he means motivation, whether he means the whole demeanour and attitude, potentially so. When you start questioning that, we were there last season, weren't we, after the Wolves game when James Coleman started questioning that, and in no uncertain terms, and you don't want to go down that road again. But it's very much up to the players to give the manager, the answer that they can respond. He will respond. The attitude, is not what he thinks it is. Because, there's some of these players in the squad tonight who you could argue may not be there next season unless they start to pull the finger out, and that's really important. We want to get to the next level, and some of these players may not be good enough to take us to the next level. So it's up to them, to show the mind that they can do a job.
Definitely, I think for me, I would say after the Newcastle game, I did an analysis of that game, and I said, and a preview for this game as well, and I was saying that for me, every single game from now till the end of the season is a question mark, and that question is, how much do you want to play in Europe next season?
Mm-hmm.
And every performance from each player who takes part, is an answer to that question, and it tells me that certain player, if we continue to underperform, isn't interested in playing in Europe next season. He's happy to finish 10th or something. And they're the kind of players we need rid of at the end of the day.
Yeah, you want hungry players, don't you? You want players that, not only want to be at the club, but you want players who want to take the club on, and who also want to play, at the highest level with the club as well. And that is European football. Whether we get sort of Europa, Champions League might seem a little bit of a way off, but of all seasons, this season is the strangest we've seen for many, many years. Even more stranger probably than last season, because we played the majority of the season, obviously with fans, etc. Whereas this season, the chances are we're going to go through to May without having fans of any kind of numbers in the ground. So this is a chance for whatever side wants to take it, really, to break up and break into the top four. And there's no reason why. We've got as much quality as those other sides who are vying for that spot as well. The likes of your Leicesters, and obviously in recent weeks we've seen like
Leicester are actually winning the game at the moment against Fulham, I think. But Leicester are doing a better job of. They're still inconsistent, but I feel like they still look a bit more complete than we are. I mean, we're still losing too many games that we should win.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
That Newcastle's the prime example of what we have got the ability to succeed, but we need players to continue to work hard and have that desire. I think that's the one thing we're lacking in a little bit. I feel like some of these players just aren't hard-working enough. And unfortunately, I think a few points made here by Adam as well, but rather Tom Davies have played if the game's going to be physical. Why Sigurdsson again? Sigurdsson's the prime example of players who I don't think care enough and are content with mid-table performances. He's come from a squad that was consistently bottom half in Swansea, and he seems like he's very happy with that. And that's not good enough for this club.
Sorry, mate. The thing with Gylfi Sigurdsson is, I've said this before. I think when he's the big fish in a small pond, he was at Swansea, he performs. When he's sort of the small fish in a big pond, it's different, and he struggles. He struggled at Spurs for me. You look at his overall Spurs
career. He did well at Swansea, did well at Reading.
Yeah. But then when it came to us and Spurs, two obviously much bigger sides, in my opinion, that's where
the rise in expectation, I think, is too much for him.
100%. But I think also with him, and it's difficult because he was brought in a particular position. The squad and the formation we play now, that position's not really there. Yeah, James obviously plays as a sort of floating number 10, sort of going wherever he wants to go. But that position he was brought in for is not there. He can't play centre mid for me. We said it already. He's too lightweight. So you do wonder. I know obviously Carlo trusts him as a senior player. Set pieces generally aren't bad. He hasn't scored a free kick, of course, but in all his time at Everton. Bar Blackpool in a friendly in pre-season. But his corners are generally all right and things like that. But in terms of the physical battle, which we're saying is a key thing in tonight's game, it's strange to have him in there. Tom Davies, I said before we saw the side, Tom Davies is definitely a better option for me at the moment. I think he's done okay in recent weeks. So bit of a surprise, of course. But we'll see. We'll see how he gets on. But I don't expect Sigurdsson to be here after, when we start the new season in the summer. But we'll wait and see.
A few shouts here from the chat, Toffee Blues, saying bench is looking a lot healthier. Certainly is. Just having a recognisable striker automatically makes that a lot better. And the only good news, Carl says, is that Olsen is in goal. But Jordan Pickford's been ruled out with a rib injury. So Robin Olsen's got his first opportunity, really, to get an extended run in the Everton first team. It's something I think Jordan Pickford hasn't had many injuries since he came to Everton, so it's interesting to see if a new keeper can maybe come in and really seize the opportunity, because Olsen's been given that chance now and he's got to take it.
Massive for Olsen, yeah. I mean, we don't know how serious Pickford's injury is. I know Carlo said he thinks he might be back for the weekend. How true that is, I don't know. I mean, there was rumours of a Pickford injury on Monday before it was confirmed by the manager yesterday. Some might say it's convenient that it's occurred now. But yeah, Olsen put in a good performance tonight, and there's no reason why he shouldn't start the game on Saturday, regardless of Jordan Pickford's fitness. That's for sure. Olsen's, we're not sitting here saying Olsen's the answer, by the way. I think if we want to get to the next level, all the top sides have a top goalkeeper. It's that simple. You don't win anything with an average or a poor goalkeeper, and Olsen's certainly not a top goalkeeper. But does he bring a little bit more security and maybe a bit more trust in the back four? Probably. He commands his area a lot more, that's for sure. The size of the lad as well, especially, helps things. So he's got a big chance to stake a claim tonight. Why not? If he does okay, you might see him against United on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting position, the goalkeeping position for the rest of the season. King Arthur USA says Pickford has cost Everton. He has been poor this season. Man United guy says as well he doesn't know why we didn't let Romero go to Everton, because he got decent money and wages off their bill. I don't know about Romero's probably on a similar level to Robin Olsen, I think, and he's probably a very good backup keeper, but he's not an elite keeper that's going to take us to the next level. I don't think he would have been the answer. Equally, United fans will say that Carlo definitely means minimum Europa League. I mean, I'd like to think that, but there's just so much. There's some of these players I really don't believe in, and I don't think Carlo deep down believed in them either. But I know Carlo could get more out of these players, and I think he has done this season. But you can't make a silk purse from a sow's ear, can you? Sometimes.
Yeah, it's difficult. So Carlo's obviously inherited all these players pretty much from last December. The business that he's done, along obviously with Marcel Brands, has been good. But it does, Marcel Brands, I think, has worked particularly well in getting the bodies out that he's got, and the players who are nowhere near the level. But there's still, I mean, it's definitely a smaller pot now, but there's still a pot of players within that squad who you could certainly argue are not near a level, who probably need to be shipped out. I mean, like to say Fabian Delph was not really a gamble, but it was a player who was brought in for his off the field mentality probably more than his on the field mentality. Hasn't really worked out in terms of minutes on the pitch. Bernard was close to getting a move away. Probably another one who could be on his way. I said already, Gylfi Sigurdsson. There's certainly areas that we can improve on. Make no mistake about that. But this summer window, where when we should have a bit more of a reset on the finances side of things and be able to do a bit more business, is going to be an important summer, that's for sure, to make sure that we do go into the new season with a bit more quality again.
I just think if we're going to get the players that we need to go to the next level, we need to be in some form of European football next season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's going to be crucial. I think even if it's only the Europa League, that'd be like a big step forward, and it'll attract the players we need to kick on as a club.
Of course, and the likes of James hasn't come here to not play European football. The same with Allan. He's come from a Napoli side. He was very successful. Always knocking around those Champions League spots, weren't he? Doing well in Europe. I'm sure Decore wants a taste of that now. So the quality of play that we're bringing in, they won't want to be sitting there and just plodding along playing Premier League football. They want to test themselves at the highest level, and obviously put themselves, within televised world football as well, so people can see them put on a bit of a show. And the only way to do that is to be playing, obviously, as well as Premier League football, to be playing European football. It's massive for them and massive for the club, more importantly.
Certainly, yeah. Cornelius says we won't go anywhere but Gomez and Sigurdsson on the pitch. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the season pans out, but that's definitely become the general consensus among the fan base, I think, is that to succeed, we need more than them, that's for sure.
We know that. We know it's still an area of weakness. We know when we haven't got Allan or the core or both of them in the side, we struggle and we get overrun. It showed against Leicester. I thought especially we did. I thought as well as Tom Davies didn't do too bad. Gomez didn't do too bad, but they're not Allan and the core. You don't play in that particular mould. I think obviously, I don't mind Andre Gomez. I think he's got quality, but not playing in a defensive or deep lying role a little bit further forward, where we've seen him coming on off the bench to decent effect in recent weeks. When he's putting crosses in, he's getting further forward. He can do a bit more damage there. But Gomez is never going to be your most physical in the middle. That's just not his game. He's never going to be comfortable sitting in front of the back four. So yeah, that is still an area I think where we need to be looking at bringing in reinforcements. Hopefully, Gbamin can recover. We don't know. It's important.
Gbamin's the real enigma, isn't he?
Well, massively so. We're all dying for him to get back, and we keep on calling for patience. It's so important. As Carl's already said, we can't afford to rush him. Any now sort of slight little niggle now could massively set him back, I think, and probably mentally more than physically. The lad's been out for such a long time. If he suffers another medium-term, long-term injury, it's not great for him, is it, mentally? So let's just give him a bit of time. But hopefully he can get back in and become the missing piece of the jigsaw.
You never know. We'll have to wait and see. Adam said in the chat as well, he's desperate for Allan to come back. That's going to be a big game changer, I think, having him back. He's definitely the bite that's missing in the middle of the park.
He's just incessant, isn't he? He's one of those players where you need someone like him. He's got quality, don't forget as well. It's not just about Allan putting his foot in. But when the opposition have got the ball, he's just in the face all the time. He's at the heels, little things like that, little niggly fouls as well, just as important. Breaking up play sometimes when we need to sort of get ourselves back, get a bit of a rest, stop our counter attack. He's clever, but technically he's very, very good as well. So yeah, he's massively important to our midfield, and in the time he's been out, it's shown that how much we do actually miss him.
Yeah, it's a real loss, I think. The sooner he gets back, the better. I mean, Leeds fan popped up in the chat as well here. No Rodriguez, good luck, lads. Haha. I mean, I personally think that does us a bit of a favour in terms of helping us combat Leeds. The physicality, I think we need to make sure we go toe-to-toe. I mean, James Rodriguez is not the quickest, so I'm not sure if we're going to try and make a battle of it before we use James. Maybe later on in the game, he can come on and make an impact. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm not saying we're going to run riot here. I really think it'll be a really hard slog this game. We will make hard work of it, but I think the more physicality we have on the pitch, the better chance we have of not only nullifying their attacking threat, and I think we've still got enough in the tank to maybe sneak a goal. I think it's going to be another case of one of those performances, similar maybe to the Wolves game. I think it'll be that kind of performance that'll be required.
100%. I think we showed at Goodison, when we sort of went a little bit gung-ho, maybe a bit toe-to-toe, and play sort of Leeds at their own game. And okay, it was a game which could have ended, with sort of 4 or 5 or whatever you want. There was chances for both sides, but I don't think, there's certain sides that you can play that way against. We've done it already this season. You sort of West Broms and your Brighton and things like that. We've got to show Leeds a bit of respect. Certainly as an attacking side, they're quite exciting. They've got decent relationship, I think, the players, in terms of they know where each other are. They know the brand of football. Bielsa's been there for a little bit of time now as well, so he's got his brand of football firmly stamped within the club. So you'd have to go there and try and do that. But there's certainly enough on the pitch to beat Leeds United. And this is not being disrespectful. We should have approached the game maybe differently at Goodison Park, and we would have beaten them then. I think it's easy for opposition fans to come on and say, oh, no James, sort of no chance, really funny, blah blah blah. But it's all about having one player in the starting 11. We've got quality throughout that side. there's probably 12, 13, 14 players there for me who are at a particular level
Good
that you
enough.
can call upon. Yeah, of course, as we said,
Yeah.
there's gaps, but there's just because Hammers isn't playing. We did okay at times when he was injured, you know. So it's one of those. It's just an easy comment to make, but I think you're most definitely right. I think it's all about sort of having a physical presence in there tonight, showing a half a battle, making sure we're putting our foot in, and being the bullies. We need to now start to sort of bully sides as well. No reason why we can't, but they've got to go in there prepared for a battle tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the confidence is very low amongst the fan base after the Newcastle game. Adam says we couldn't do it against out of form Newcastle. We've got Bielsa's Leeds who are in form, clearly not very confident. Harry also says, look at the starting 11, I can't understand Carlo's plan for actually scoring here. It looks like he just wants to play for a 0-0. I mean, I'm not too sure. Sometimes you just need a bit more dynamism. I'm hoping that this 11 gives us that. I'm not confident with the Sigurdsson getting involved, basically just having Sigurdsson in the team. I don't think he's at all dynamic enough. We'll have to wait and see, though. Yeah, it's generally the confidence is quite low. I think it's been quite a dispiriting couple of days with the Newcastle result. Danzy just popped up saying, I think Carlo wants to keep the score 0-0 until the second half. I think that could be the case. Aaron Koeman made a very good point. We did well in December without James. That was our best run of form. In fact, King Arthur's continually said this in the chat this evening. Catenaccio will get Everton the top four if Olsen plays. Of course, if you're not too sure, guys, Catenaccio is the defensive Italian style of play. And I mean, Carlo's obviously well drilled in that from his career as a player and manager. So you never know. We'll see. But it seems to have been the method that's been getting us more results lately. So maybe this is the time to turn to that. We'll see what happens. Paul said, apart from Olsen, the bench is stronger than the team that's starting. We're going to get stuffed. So again, there's not a lot of confidence amongst the fans here. I can definitely say that anyway. Would love to say that our subs could change the game, but does Ancelotti even make subs? He didn't the last game. Only made one change. Again, clearly beliefs in short supply amongst the fans here.
I think
we've got a bit more positivity from 3-5-2 games. We've got a proper goalkeeper playing. I've got faith we'll win 3-1. Everton will win. Thank God we've got a bit of confidence coming back into the live chat, Mike. Are people right to be sceptical going into this one? It's never an easy game against Leeds, is it?
It's not an easy game, though, and I think in any normal season, if we'd lost 2-0 at home to Newcastle and, lost the lead to Leicester when, maybe we could have won that game, then I'd sort of say, well, I understand. This season is totally different. Believe me, it is. It's not like going to Ellen Road on a normal midweek game under the lights with 35,000 fans in that ground, passionate. It's not like that, and people need to understand that. If sides can put a run of wins together, as we've seen, you get yourself right up there. We've done it twice ourselves. You get yourself right up there, and we're probably doing better away than we are at home. And the correlation there for me is that there's no fans in the ground. So don't get sort of too enrolled in the fact that we've lost to a poor Newcastle side, therefore we're going to go to Ellen Road and get beat. Don't buy into that, because it's not like a usual season. Go back to the Wolves game. I thought we played for the first 15-20 minutes some of our best football. The Iwobi goal was probably my favourite goal of the season, and that was when we play with no striker. So people before that game were going, we got no chance here. What's going on? Sigurdsson's playing as a false nine. It is what it is. It's difficult to shift, I think, sometimes in negativity, because that's how you would normally think. You've got to just change your thinking this season totally until we get back to normal. Then go back to that way of thinking, of course.
Yeah,
but it's so different.
You can see a lot of people of their heads have fallen off here. I think Cornelius has popped up with as Carlo losing. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the team he's got to deal with isn't the greatest. Let's be honest, there's some garbage in there, but that's not Carlo's fault. Aaron Koeman says Sigurdsson waste of money. EFC Blues, they're shit at defending, but I think they'll beat us. So, again, there's not a lot of confidence in the chat. Carlo sending out a statement, Nev Cooper says that no one is undroppable. A good bench can actually make subs who make a difference. Yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it. I hope that's how it pans out, Nev. Thanks for getting involved, of course. Toffee Blues John, big that one. Props there to Nev Cooper. A bit of positivity needed, much needed positivity in the chat there. Again, Cornelius is very unhappy with Richarlison being in the team. So, Matt Steele, do you reckon Josh will get a chance tonight? Josh King, I think he will. Yeah, he's got. If he's available to be picked, he needs to get a go because we need to see something a little bit different, something a bit more inspiring from what we've seen recently, and that might Josh King might be the man. We'll have to wait and see. Leo Owen. Let's go opportunity on to Everton. King to be subbed on score. Godfrey will score from a set piece. Much more like it. Thanks, Leo. Great to you getting involved. Ask yourself, would you want to play with Mary Pickford? From a Leeds fan point of view, I'm very happy that James isn't playing. I'm not surprised, mate. James is excellent, but equally, James is James going to get involved in the physical duels? I'm not too sure, but we'll wait and see. James might be looking to use James as an impact sub, I think, here. Sordine gets shredded by Wilton's pace last match. Rafinha now against him looking really tough, but yeah, I think that might be a method in the madness, maybe, Godfrey. Of course, I say madness, but Godfrey's been getting picked at left back for most of the season, so no complaints there, really, with Godfrey being left in. Not sure why James is out. He's been Everton's best player. That seems to be the general consensus. There's a lot of surprise at the leaving James Rodriguez on the bench, but Leo Owen's very confident King will get a winner. Leo, you've really injected the much-needed positivity into the chat, and thank you so much for getting involved. Few different shouts here. Who else have we got? Mikey says King wasn't allowed to play, and I think it's only just developed that he is allowed to play, to be honest. Cornelius, so hopefully Dean can get his head straight along with Gylfi and Gomez. Dean, I think, is one of our better players. I think he'll come good. Gylfi and Gomez side thing, I'm not too sure, but he's the guilty one anyway. At least he's, let's what happens. Matthew Steele popped up again there. I reckon he can put DCL on the wing and Josh King up front in the second half. Change that's a very interesting one. Could catch them out, but matches have worked like that before. You never know what the system is, and I mean Marcel Bielsa's known for his eccentric tactics. Some very thinking outside the box. So maybe we could beat him at his own game. I don't know. Carlo, a serial winner. I think we just need to trust him. Definitely not a fan of a few players playing tonight, but it might suit us if they're going to sit deep and counter attack. I think that'll be the order of the day, to be honest. It's going to be a case of getting a few players behind the ball. I think maybe they're going to want it to be expansive because they've got the legs. I think they're going to want to get about the pitch and make a battle of it, but we've just got to be clever about the way we play this game. And, it's never an easy game against Leeds, but we'll have to wait and see. Aaron Koeman made a good point there. Serial winner, does he like Cocoa Pops? Some class shouts in the chat. Eamon's also said, back a Yoko to score the winner. It's one of them. It's one of them. Adam says, hoping DCL breaks a scoring duck today with the Leeds defence. I mean, Leeds defence isn't the best, but we've also got to make sure we provide Calvert-Lewin with the service. Without James, that might be a bit more difficult. And maybe, like many people have said, it might be a case of holding out to the second half and trying to keep the score down. And then maybe trying to snatch it. I don't know. Cornelius says I'd play King and Richie or a Wobies role. and play a 4-4-2. Some interesting points there. What's your take on some of these shouts there, Mike? Do you think people say maybe Richie should have been dropped? I think he's one of them. I think he needs to play in this game because we need the work rate and the physicality.
Yeah, it's difficult. As I said earlier on, it was probably a toss-up between, in my side, Iwobi and Richarlison. We know he's not in great form. But we know, like you say, defensively how good Richarlison is. Whether he's performing and scoring goals in the final third, it doesn't matter in terms of his appetite to win the ball back, help out the defence, etc. So we know that that's a really good side of his game and could be important tonight. I think he was probably always going to get the nod, to be honest. I don't think King was ever going to come straight into the side either. He can play wide in a 3 if needs be. He can play central. He's another player who's quite versatile. And in the second half, he might, as I said, might get the nod, might come on. Calvert-Lewin, he's just starved of service really at times, isn't he? We look at his last couple of games against Leicester and against Newcastle. I think he's had two attempts in those games in total. Should have scored the header against Leicester, was one. And then the other one against Newcastle was where the keeper tipped it around the post. We tried to bend it in the bottom corner. So, yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult because you want to try and get a balance to make sure that the side that goes in there not only can battle and mix it up with the Leeds side, but can also have got that quality to play on the counter. The balance is decent, but obviously we would have all loved to see hammers in there. Some people want to see Josh King come straight in. Obviously, pace, power. But it is set up. People have alluded to it already. It's set up probably for a tight first half, I think. First 60 minutes.
That's what we want anyway, I think.
We do, let's keep it compact. Let's the most important word probably is discipline. Make sure you stay in the formation, counter when you can. And then if it's sort of 0-0 with sort of 25, 30 to go, that's when you start ringing the changes. Hammers, obviously King off the bench. You got obviously Bernard as an option. You got those kind of players who can come on and hopefully make some kind of difference.
A few more shouts in the chat. Toffee Blue says, who played in midfield in our last competitive game at Allan Road? James has done enough quizzes on our podcast, so should know the answer. I certainly do, and I'm very thankful that Francisco Jr. is as far away from this club as possible after that performance. So, fingers crossed we don't have any Francisco Jr.-esque performances this evening. Otherwise, we'll be screwed. John Kelly says, Joe Max Moore always does well at Leeds. Another brace today. Some interesting shouts in the chat. Love it. Some really good shouts, actually. Thanks for getting involved, guys. Some very optimistic shouts from Matthew Teal. It's thrashed them 9-0, last night. Toffee Blues, that Joe Max Moore shout went down very well, clearly. Good to see Godfrey and Mina as the centre-back pair. That's something we haven't really touched on yet. Could be a perfect blend, he says. Take on the Mina Godfrey pair, and do you think he's right to leave Michael Keane out?
I think all players at some point this season are going to get taken out. It's a busy season because it's compact, a lot of games in short periods of time. So I understand why. I'm excited to see Godfrey play at the back in a 2 as opposed to 3. He's done well, obviously, across the back since he's come in. But yeah, it's great to see, someone with that pace alongside, a big, tall, strong player like Yerry Mina. I think in the longer term, that's where we see Ben Godfrey probably. I guess we're thinking about Mason Holgate though, sort of longer term. Whether we'll see Holgate at the club longer term, maybe not. I'm thinking about who could come in. I think Keane's obviously liked. Mina's doing okay at the moment. I don't know whether Holgate is going to be there. I'm asking that question, to be honest with you. It's sort of trying to look a bit further ahead, but I'm excited to see Godfrey there. Really, let's see him in the 2.
See how he gets on. Yeah,
his recovery pace is fantastic, isn't it? So any kind of slip from Yerry Mina, I'm sure Godfrey will be there to mop things up.
We need those legs as well against these.
100%. Yeah.
I think that's a really good move, but we'll have to wait and see. Stephen Richardson says, not liking our midfield lineup. I don't think many people are, Stephen, so you're not alone there. Certainly. Some interesting shouts here. James, how do you get Don Hutchison to co-host today? That one must have been lost on me. I don't even know what's on it to look like. I just know we played for Everton. It's a bit before my time. That one, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not sure whether it would have been pre or post haircuts, lockdown haircuts, to be honest with you, because if you would have seen me last week, I was nothing like this.
Or was it more Marrow and Foley?
It was getting about to console, to be fair, so I had to just take the shears to it the other day. But yeah, it's Don Hutchinson. Yeah, maybe that's a lookalike.
We'll see. Carl he says, good to see Godfrey playing in his best position. Certainly, yeah, but Cornelius said, I think we should have played Keane, and all of our tall guys, Leeds, are trash at defending set pieces. That is true because I think set pieces might be crucial for us in this game. I think we're at a disadvantage in terms of pace and the getting around the pitch, but we have got the height advantage on their team, so I think we should be looking to take advantage of that. Whether we see Michael Keane at some point, I don't know. We might bring another centre back on if we take the lead. I don't know. Paul says Iwobi needs to play well. He was crucial in Fulham and Wolves away wins. He was very much so. Of course, he was a wing back in the Fulham game. I don't want to see that again. As much as we got away with it against Fulham, I don't think it was the right place for him. I think he's been on the right wing the role, and I think that's where we need to keep him. The Wolves game is the best example of how we can get the most out of Alex Iwobi. So hopefully, I think that looks like the role he'll take on. Joe Mullen says Godfrey in the right position, but Mina and the right centre defence. I'd rather see him left. I don't think we haven't actually seen where exactly they'll be, but I'd imagine that'll be what it is. Mina tends to be the right centre back above all others. I think he's pretty uncomfortable at left centre back, so maybe that explains that. But Godfrey has obviously been comfortable at left back, so I think maybe he will probably be the more comfortable at being a left centre back. King Arthur USA, great show, boys. That's always like the props from you guys in the chat. Great to hear that. Rob Roy says, are you sure it's not Godfrey at right back and Holgate centre? It could be, but I'd hazard a guess. That's actually a very good point. I'd have said Holgate at right back and Godfrey centre back at first glance, but we actually don't know how that could be. For all we know, it could even be a back three. We don't actually know what the situation is with formation or anything. But again, we've still got another 20 minutes until kickoff, and we'll see how things pan out here. Tony Collins got involved. He needs to step up tonight. If he could score a winner, it could ignite him for the rest of the season. That's a very good point. We need to get Richarlison back into form as soon as possible. That could be crucial to our prospects this season. He needs to take the burden off Calvert-Lewin a little bit. He needs to step up. And, I think a goal is important to really get the fire burning again for Richarlison because, he's just been very flat lately. Adams made a good point as well. I'm glad Coleman isn't playing. I think Coleman was wretched against Newcastle and has been in many of the games where he's taken part lately. I think that's a good move that we don't see him in the team, especially for this game with the hate and the trickery of Leeds United. I think it's good that he's been left out. There might still be a place for Coleman, but I don't think this evening is that game. King Arthur's clearly very pleased that Robin Olsen's playing instead of Pickford. Everton will win because of Olsen. Paul says, does anyone really believe Pickford is injured? Doesn't look anything wrong with him against Newcastle. Maybe it's a lie to help Pickford save face after being dropped. Because, to be fair, his performances have been poor again the last two games. So, there could be something more to that. Paul carries on there. Managers do sometimes lie about players being injured to protect them from scrutiny, when in reality they've just been dropped. It could very well be the case. I know the Newcastle game at St James's, Olsen was brought in for one game, and that may well have been to take scrutiny off Pickford after the Derby incident. So, anyone, we're on 49 minutes. Anyone had 49 minutes on the bingo card for the Van Dijk injury? I even get to mention on Everton shows now. So, there you go. Anyone who had a 49th minute, there you go. You have won the Van Dijk injury bingo. So, Delboy reckons Holgate is right back. One Football say so, apparently. If anyone's got that app. Apparently they say Nathan Holgate's going to be starting at right back. Little challenge here from the Toffee Blues. Anyone want to name some players who've played for both Everton and Leeds and see the most obscure players we can get? I think there's many a name out there. I'll leave it to you guys to keep throwing them into the chat as we move along. Ernesto Espinal has said, did Ancelotti give any reason why James is not in the starting lineup today? Not that we're aware. I haven't seen anything. I'm just keeping tabs on social media, and nothing that I've heard has suggested that there's a specific reason or like an injury for him being left out. Yeah, well, I doubt he'd be on the bench if there was an injury, to be honest. So, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I'd like to see him. I think hopefully we will see him in the second half as an impact sub, maybe. Carl Molyneux straight in there with Jermaine Beckford, of course. We've had him on the show. If you haven't watched my interview with Jermaine Beckford, definitely get involved and watch me speak to him. He's a cracking bloke, of course. Carl Molyneux says, Gary Speed, Owen, the small matter of Fabian Delph as well. Some really interesting ones. Duncan McKenzie. Stephen Tello said, some really good names getting thrown about there. Great stuff. Adam P says, tonight is a must-win, especially having the 2 games in hand. Yeah, we've already thrown one of them up the wall, so we need to make the most of it this time. Ross Barkley, there's a really interesting shot. I forgot we loaned Ross Barkley to Leeds for the season. Oh my God, Rodrigo Beckham. Some good shouts. Leon Osman, apparently, according to Adam. I'm not sure if Leon. I think Osman went on loan to Derby, but Paul's come up with the big one. Nigel Martin, what a player he was. One of my all-time favourites as a supporter under 30. Yeah, I think he's the most notable one to have played for both. He's an absolutely brilliant goalkeeper, and he's the kind of goalkeeper we need of that kind of calibre. I think if we're to step up to the next level, don't think Pickford's going to reach that level. Not sure if Robin Olsen's at that level either. I think that could well be the case. We need to get ready for next season. I think we need to be bringing in, an elite goalkeeper. Dacour, really good point there. John Kelly, I forgot about Olivier Dacour. Played a part in both clubs. Ian Snowden, as well as Dacour. Liam Kelly says, apology if you've already spoken about our thoughts on Sigurdsson still playing. I can't remember the last game he did anything good. Probably when he scored the winner against Sheffield United, to be fair, he played quite well in that game as well. And why has Davis been dropped again? I mean, I can't say Davis pulled up any trees, but he's definitely been better than Sigurdsson lately. So I definitely agree with that, Liam. I'd rather have seen Tom Davis in the starting 11 than Gylfi Sigurdsson, that's for sure. Paul just wanted to let everyone know that Tommy Graverson's now on Twitter, and he's been very much an interesting presence on Twitter since he joined, so we give him a follow. If you haven't come across it yet, we'll try and find them for you, because he's been dropping some absolutely brilliant content. King Arthur reckons Bobby Collins played for both clubs. I'll have to look that one up, because I thought Bobby Collins was a great player for Everton, but I didn't know he played for Leeds as well. Turns out he went to Leeds after he played for Everton, so that's really good shout there from Tommy Graverson. Paul Stockton says, is James playing? Well, he's on the bench. I reckon he'll come on, but he's not starting the game. Another mention of Don Hutchison there as well. Ernesto Espinal again. Hopefully Sigurdsson is replaced by James at the beginning of the second half. They shouldn't play at the same time, and Sigurdsson is always fighting to take the corners. Well, he shouldn't be, because I haven't seen Sigurdsson take many decent corners in recent weeks. V7 Dark says, what channel's the game on? It's on BT Sport 3, guys, if you haven't come across it yet. And if you've got BT Sport, then it's on BT Sport 3. And it's kicking off in just over 10 minutes. So, there's your 10-minute warning to get ready. And, this will be drawing to a close shortly anyway. This preview segment, of course, we've got the players will be coming out in about 5 minutes' time, so we'll just start wrapping up anyway. Completely off our game, Adam says. Alisson now injured for Liverpool. Well, that's completely irrelevant to us. So I'll be honest, I'm too busy worrying about our game to worry about anything that they do. So Interesting point here from Alor, or Alor. New pitch laid over the last week at Ellen Road. Interesting with the weather to see how it holds out. Would that favour their game or our game if the pitch cuts up or anything?
Yeah,
I'd say that'd favour us more than them.
Yeah, I saw it the other week when they were playing. Looked like Buckley Hill the other week. It was absolutely shocking. Like someone been out with a plough.
Yeah, oh my god!
Honestly, it was awful for a Premier League pitch. Obviously we've had shocking weather throughout the country in recent weeks, but yeah, when you lay a new pitch and don't give it time to settle, it's not particularly ideal, is it? Especially with the rain, etc. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, is it going to favour us or them? Who knows? Really, it depends. It depends how we want to try and play. It's going to be intriguing to see how it plays out and how it does hold up.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be interesting to see. Toffee Blues John popped up again with get your score predictions in Blues and a few coming in already. John Kelly says 2-1 to Everton. Lewis Murphy says Leeds 2-0. Oof. ALAW is all Leeds, aren't we? I think it favours you, to be honest. I think it probably does because we're going to be the one who's going to try and win ugly, to be honest. I think we're going to be the ones trying to make things difficult for Leeds to play their own game, especially at their grounds. I know there's no fans, but even then it still seems to play a slight part. Ganymede says 2-2. That was actually what I was going to go with, Ganymede. So, yeah, 2-2 could be an interesting one. Everton 9, Leeds 0, says Cornelius. the 9-0 seems to be the order of the day. Paul says, do you see chances for Everton to qualify for the Champions League? No, I think it's a bridge too far, to be honest. But at the same time, I'll be disappointed if we don't get Europa. So it's one of them. It's a very close. It's going to be a very close one, I think, isn't it? Between now and the end of the season to see if we can get over the line. But it's important to get results in games like this, that's for sure. A few rumours popping up here. Looks like Calvin Phillips could be injured in the warm-up. He's a very good player for Leeds, I think. So that could be another, interesting change in our favour. We don't know. Dan Brown says, good luck with Joe, lads. 4-2 to Everton. Cheers, Dan. 3-0 to Everton. Come on, you Toffees. Lewis Murphy's defo a Leeds fan. Rafinha's going to make you cry again. Jeez, wet. Yeah, come on, you Blues. Regards from Serbia. Great to have you on, mate. That's always good to have these fans coming on from all over the world. It's great to have you on. Voila, I'll say to you. Lewis Murphy is very much getting involved in the Leeds chat. V7, Everton are going to win 2-0. Juan Camilo Mejia, let's go Everton, cheers from Miami. The James Rodriguez fan base is definitely involved as well. Always great to have you guys tuning in from all across the world. Guys from Serbia and everything, great stuff. 11:30 a.m. here in San Diego. Beer in the missus' hydro flask. Well, in John Kelly, great commitment to see you getting up in the morning, and it's one of them. It takes a lot. We talk about glory hunters in foreign countries, maybe supporting other clubs, but you can't say it's glory hunting when you're supporting us, mate. So, hats off. Really is. All-round team. Lewis Murphy says if one player is out, we make it work. Beelzebub. One of them, I think. They have got some good players, Leeds. Let's be honest. It's still not going to be easy, regardless of who's out. I think they've still got some good players, and they're still very physically fit, and we've got to match them in the battle. As we say, Liliana Cuartas, Vamos from Colombia. Some more Colombians getting involved. Great stuff. We always love you guys tuning in. Delboy says 1-0 to Everton. V7's asked who's going to win the league. I think, judging by what we're seeing right now, I think Manchester City will probably win the title. I think they've been doing very well. They're 2-0 up at Burnley as we speak. I reckon it'll be Manchester City. Ricky Swift says Everton is still a big club, can we class them as glory hunting? Thanks, mate. I'm really glad you said that, because we are a massive club, and it's always good to hear that from people. And of course, we've still got a very big fan base out there. and you support a very big club no matter what. There's definitely a big club, but you still have to suffer the odd time when we play horrifically like we did the other day. So fair play to you for still tuning in regardless. It's not easy, is it? Let's be honest. Paul Mortimer says, nice round of chat, boy. Keep it up. Thanks for tuning in, mate. I think you're a Leeds fan, aren't you, Paul? But it's always good to get you guys tuning in as well. Tom Clark says, we are two of the most unpredictable teams in the league in the most unpredictable season. Who knows? It's going to be a very, very interesting game. We'll wait and see anyway. Game is on in 7 minutes. That's a good point. Final one, Juan Camilo Mejia again, 3-0 for Everton. DTL scored twice. James the third or second. So I presume it's going to be very much a second half contest at this rate. For the Colombians, Joe Kelly says, you'll need translation Scouse to English to Spanish. That's for sure. Thomas Robertson, very optimistic. Thomas, thanks for tuning in. 5-0 to the Blues, my goodness. Some people are definitely on as a couple of drinks at this point because there's no way I'm saying that. I was going to predict a 2-2 draw anyway. That's my prediction from the match preview that I've already recorded anyway. Mike, just before we finish up, your predictions?
I think I said on the podcast of the weekend 1-0 Everton. So I think we will sort of try and keep it tight. Second half, take it to them. I can't think of who said was going to score. I've got a feeling. I think Richarlison's going to bag, to be honest. Break that.
Let's hope so. He needs a goal. Let's hope so.
100%. So let's go in there, confidence. Just ignore what happened at the weekend. As I say, strange time, strange season. Be confident. Go in there, win the game.
Fingers crossed. Let's see how we get on anyway, guys. The players will be coming out very shortly, so let's get over to watching the game. We'll leave you at that. Keep your comments coming in and whatnot, and let's just see how we get on. Fingers crossed, boys. Come on, you Blues. Until of course, I'm recording the post-match reaction as well live on the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, so tune in for that as well. And until then, I'll see you in about 2 hours' time for that. Hopefully with a smile on my face. And until then, thank you for tuning in on the Toffee Blues.